So next show is Nichijou. That's my pick. It's from 2006, 20-minute episodes. Very short. And I will describe it as like Japanese version of everyday Monty Python. That's why I like it, because it's very nonsensical and like jovial and like very absurd, but at the same time very mundane, and it's very hit and miss. So there's so many sketches in an episode, so much happens and nothing happens really, and there's no story really. But the good thing is that if you don't like parts of it, they just end quickly. So so to me this show is a horrible mix of like really funny things and things I don't really get and I'm very bored with and I don't understand what's happening, but somehow it works, and it works like a sketch show. The best thing to describe this, and that's also my like 3-word description, is mundane Japanese madness. This is it's like everyday school life, but what actually goes in people's heads happens in the show, which can be very amusing. I think a very similar thing we have in Czech culture. There is a movie book show called, do you know what I was gonna say?
No.
In the show there's a famous quote that there is a pile of donuts or cakes on a table, and when people look at it, there are 2 types of people. One type of people think about throwing the cakes at other people's faces, and the second type of people, they throw the cakes and they start a food fight. Do you know which book it is?
That didn't help at all.
Nope. No clue.
It's Saturnin.
Oh.
I didn't watch that.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's like a
That's a
famous...
bit old.
Yeah, I'm old, I'm too old. But it's a famous thing, and I think this is the same gist of this show. Like, if you look at something, what would actually happen if it went like bonkers? So that's what happens in this show. So we all watched like a few clips I chose. So anybody wants to say what happened?
Which clips did you choose? Because I saw everything.
The goat and the dogs.
The goat is my favorite.
Yeah, the goat is great.
Yeah.
I also like the card house, but the goat is amazing.
So what happens is that one of the characters, she's drawing like very inappropriate sexual
She's doing
comics.
yaoi. That's boys' love.
Yeah, basically gay porn. And it's about her schoolmates. And she's really into it, and she's like drawing it, but she draws it in secret and nobody can see it. And in one of the scenes, somehow she gets into a situation where somebody might see it, and she gets into such an extent to make sure they don't see it that she suplexes a goat. So there's like somebody picks it up and they want to look at it, but she jumps and just throws them on the ground. And then, for some reason, this guy who wanted to pick it up has a pet goat or something, and she jumps on the goat and just throws it and flips it and slams it on the ground. That's the type of insane stuff that happens in this show. Another scene we watched was with the dogs, where this sound happens. So this is when they encounter a bunch of very, very cute dogs, and they are very scared of them, and then their friends come and they say, "It's fine, it's just cute dogs. They will not bite you." And then they keep freaking out because they're gonna bite them, and then one of the dogs does this sound. So basically the dog bites one of the characters and like an atom bomb explodes. She shoots a laser from her eyes and face and
mouth.
And she just demolishes the whole city because it hurts so bad when a dog bites you.
He had a cute bite clump.
Yep. That's the sound. Like. Another thing I want to say is I had a very terrifying realization of snot bubbles.
Ew.
Because in the shows, many anime shows, but this one especially, when a character sleeps, they have a white bubble like blowing up and down next to their face. And I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
And we figured it out. It's because they never blow their nose. And when they finally fall asleep, a snot bubble appears because they don't have to wear of them, and they just exhale and inhale and it moves the snot bubble. That's why. That's how it started. It's horrible.
Well, thanks for ruining snot bubbles for me.
Yeah.
So that's the thing I meant to say. And a bunch of sounds. It's an simulator. All the is in this show.
I mean, that's just Japan. That's not this specific anime.
I think it's the most in this show I've ever seen or heard in any show.
Well, there's a specific character on the show that specifically, basically, only does the is only.
Let's listen to a clip. So this is what you hear basically all the time.
That was a compilation, no?
That's a compilation from just one scene.
yeah, it was one scene.
Oh yeah, I remember that scene. Yeah,
That was a scene that
a good
Adam
one.
sent me actually after I already watched it, and it's a scene where they go to try soba that you catch with your chopsticks while it's sliding down a tube or like a gutter or something.
No, it was a gutter. It was a bamboo.
Okay.
Oh, that thing! I actually saw that one.
It's like a thing you can experience in a Japanese restaurant where they have like a bamboo gutter.
A cutout. Yeah, I
Cutout.
guess it's like a gutter.
And water is flowing through it, like near the table, and they send noodles like flowing down the stream through this like bamboo trunk, and you're supposed to catch them and pick them up with your chopsticks. And she heard that there is a new restaurant that she can experience it in, and she went to this like place, and there was an old lady who just peeked out of the window, threw down the bamboo, and just sent like random things down the thing, and she couldn't deal with it, and just kept being surprised. So, what do you have to say, or do you have to say anything?
I mean, the show speaks for itself.
Okay.
That's what I have to say.
Okay.
That's it.
Oh, that was worst. Nothing. I don't want to see that anymore. All the time, I don't know what happened.
So you're not alone. Like we also don't know.
Well, like before, I've seen like half of the season. I didn't finish it. I tried to finish it, but honestly, as Philip said, parts of it are really freaking boring.
Mm-hmm.
And between these parts are extremely memorable and hilarious scenes.
Yeah,
But over time, I feel like there's less of these scenes and more of the boring scenes. It gets a little bit repetitive despite being really funny.
Mhm. I agree with that.
And creative. Like this, exactly. There is this scene. There is the scene where the principal wrestles a deer.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Or when the girl that draws the BL manga chases the other girl who took the notebook
that's
with
my
like
favorite scene.
machine guns and rockets and I don't know what. It is hilarious stuff, and then there is stuff that's like horribly boring.
I feel like it might be because we don't get the cultural like thing. Because some of the things we like get as people who experience the same, like when she goes to the coffee shop and she orders a cafe. In a cafe she orders a coffee. Sorry.
Give me one cafe, please.
And she kept saying, "This is exactly how I feel like." She's like, "Give me like venti or like tall or like I don't know like espresso," and she has no idea what it means. This is what I felt like when I went to Starbucks for the first time. Why would they call a big cup tall or venti or something? I was like, what the... So we get that, but sometimes they have some kind of a Japanese thing. Like, for instance, I didn't understand where they put the broccoli in the bicycles. Like they stole a saddle, and they stole.
Still a saddle. Still a saddle. Okay.
They just took a shit.
Sorry, my English not working. What happened? They steal a saddle and they put a broccoli instead of the saddle. Do you know why?
I
have no idea.
It's funny.
This is like a thing that people do if they wanna spite somebody in Japan. They steal their saddles because it's very easy to do, and they just put broccoli or some kind of vegetable there just to make them angry. it's a thing that happens all the time in Japan. So if you don't know that, you can't see the joke, which plays on that because they placed broccoli, and then they like kept replacing things with other things. And I was like, why are they doing this? But the joke was that they like steal things from people and they put more ridiculous things for the thing they stole, and then the other person stole that thing and replaced it with a more ridiculous thing, and they kept putting these vegetables somewhere. I was like, what is this about? And then somebody told me that this is a joke that school children really like to do, that they steal something, they put a vegetable there. So if you don't know that, it doesn't really... it cannot be funny.
Well, one more thing to know about Japanese culture. And you're right. Like it's hard to laugh about this if you don't actually know what's going on. I don't know. I think you've said like most of the things that I wanted to say. It's like basically I can say this like weird story. Like this is an anime that's not my cup of tea at all. It doesn't have any plot. It doesn't have any context. It doesn't really explain anything. Like I have no idea what's going on. Basically in this anime I share the Philip's vision of not having any idea what's in this anime, and like
I'm so happy you know how I feel.
I don't know, like first episode, which is what I watched, and then I watched like the few clips that you sent me, so I don't have much of a sample size, but like first episode, not even 3 minutes in, like girl with a wind-up key on her back, chasing a cat, trips and falls, cut the huge cinematic explosion. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
Exactly.
Why is there an explosion? Why is this girl having a wind-up key on her back? Well, that explains later, but basically no context given at all in the rest of the episode for most of the stuff that happened, and that's just, I don't know. It some of the scenes are fun, but most of the times I just look at it and I have no idea what's going on, and it's not that funny for me. So
Okay.
yeah, it's
I absolutely understand and agree with that, but at the same time, I was somehow able to have a lot of fun with it, so that's a good thing.
One comment on it is just like how I said about like Sailor Moon, how the comics are very different. I think the problem with Nichijou, like the anime, is that it's really, really, really abridged. Like how they tell you what day it is. Like how there's multiple clips, but maybe it says day 39 and it's like day 57. In the comic books, they have all the days, so it's like more kind of together. Like there actually is a story, but like they chose some what they thought were funnier parts to put into the anime. So actually, yes, it doesn't make any sense in the anime, but like it's kind of fun. But like if you actually read the comic, like for instance, the girl that's doing all the drawings, like there's a whole story behind it, and even like the true ending of Nichijou, like she actually gets a chance, like wins a contest, and she's about to become an actual manga artist, and she's trying to choose like if she wants to do it or not. So there's just a bunch of missing pieces.
so why is this not in the anime? That would be interesting.
I have no idea. It's just like with Elfen Lied, if you ever watch that, like they just cut it off. They just cut it off.
Yeah,
they don't even finish it. So like stuff like that is just one of those things where they just like, yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it.
So
Wanna know more? Read the manga.
exactly. What did you learn?
I learned actually something. I learned that it could be very joyful to see life in a Nichijou way. Because there's so much stuff going on, and you ignore, and if you don't ignore it and imagine what it could mean, or how it would be, it just shows you how to have a lot of fun without having anything really. You can just enjoy life more, like they do in Nichijou.
This is some thought of the day material right here.
5 words for summing up, or less than. No, let me think about it for a bit. I'll go last.
So I actually have some prepared.
Okay.
But it's quite generic, but basically random Japanese bullshit without context.
Yep.
Oh wait, I got one. That's what it is. It's my 5 words.
Nice.
I'm gonna go with Salamapagi.
What does it mean?
It's set in the show.
Is it?
Yes. They greet each the one of the girls greets them with
Okay.
Salamapagi.
Yeah. And then she like ignores her and she's
They
like,
ignore
did you hear
her
what I said?
completely.
They ignore her hardcore.
Okay. Does it mean anything?
She was just like, I think one of the things she said was like just something like another language, and she was just saying random crap to see if they would know this.
Yeah. Right.
Weird girls doing weird shit.
Okay. Mundane Japanese madness